Good to hear. Let's hope your execution matches your enthusiasm. I've got a job for you if you're looking to keep busy. Here are the details.
Wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes. Welcome to another episode of Soul Talk, where we talk Star Citizen and members of the community. I'm your host, fastcart FC. You can call me fastcart, you can call me FC, but just don't call me Shirley. Some people will get that joke, airplane reference. Anyway, today is August 3rd, 2023, at least in North and South America. We're live on Twitch and YouTube, and we're having some issues with Facebook, but hopefully we'll get that squared away. But if you want to talk to us, click on the link below. I'll put the link in chat so people can join us in Discord. We are a community discussion group. So come on in, have a chat. We'll talk about Star Citizen. What's going on this week? Oh, happy Baldur's Gate release day, at least for the PCs. PlayStation comes later. I did pre-order a few days ago because you're getting the deluxe edition for the base play. So I thought that was a good deal, so I decided to get it. Plus I played Baldur's Gate 2 and I put a lot of hours into it. I didn't play Baldur's Gate 1, but I do enjoy the top-down isometric view of game. Plus this one has 3D view too, so it should be interesting. I didn't play today because I didn't want to have to stop, do Soul Talk, and get back to it. So I'm going to play it after the show ends. But I plan to play maybe a Paladin or maybe a Sorcerer. I haven't really decided yet. Oh yeah, I have one movie recommendation. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That was a great movie. It really pays out the trilogy and one of the best movies of the current MCU phase. I'm not going to say the best movie ever. I'm not going to say the best MCU movie ever. But of the current MCU phase, it's one of the best movies. So check that out, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Especially if you've seen the first two. I do have one TV recommendation. Foundation Season 2. Oh my goodness. I thought Season 1 started out slow, but because they had to establish characters, but that's how season 1 typically goes. But the current season takes off with a blast and does not slow down. And the special effect is really top notch. So check out Foundation Season 2, or just Foundation in general. Now, this may be controversial, but I believe Foundation is a sci-fi series with a soul. And what I mean by that, many popular or big-name IPs seem to have their writing or storytelling distilled these days. They're trying to get down to the really basic stuff. And thank you for that. New Soul, thank you for the subscription for 25 months. Thank you. But their popular series seem to have they tend to be formulaic, put it that way. They lack some improvisation and stuff like that. But I don't see that with Foundation. Foundation seems to really strike the chord with me, so I really enjoy it. All right, so before I get to my thing, I'm gonna talk about what we're doing for the past couple of months. So click on this. We kicked off a new charity, or not new fundraiser now, but a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital beginning June 1st to October 22nd, CitizenCon weekend. Our goal is to reach $10,000 or more with the following milestones incentive. You can see down below, and we want to reach $10,000 before CitizenCon weekend. We already did the first two, so we passed 5,000 and 1,000. I do have to apologize, by the way. On Saturday, we crossed 1,500, and I thought we had a milestone, and I said we were doing a giveaway. That was my mistake. We were doing a giveaway at 2,000, and you can see that the UE Field Navy jacket and cap. 3,000, we're doing a 12-hour live stream, 3,250, and so on. We're doing a bunch of giveaways. And the ultimate giveaway at $10,000 is the Endeavor Master Set giveaway. You see, I took out Jump. It no longer said Jump. Thank goodness. So yes, go to St. Jude, and well, I'll put the link in chat. But go to Tiltify and donate if you can. And appreciate everyone who donated so far. Thank you. All right. Before I forget, they are doing a Chicago Bar Citizen on August 26th. So that's been moved from July 29th. So I don't have any current up-to-date graphics or anything like that, but just know the Chicago Bar Citizen had been moved to August 26th. All right, and with that, I'm gonna do my thing, and then we're gonna I hate when I start laughing before I do my monologue, but you know how it is with me. I love to laugh. Anyway, for several years now, ever since I learned that NPCs and blades will probably have less of an impact while playing third person than I previously thought back in 2014 to 2015, I've been worried about dying while combating my bigger ships like the BMM and Endeavor. You all know I don't currently play much because I don't want to burn myself out before the game launches, and because the gameplay features such as economy and science are not in yet. But then I realized that once I fully commit to the game, I'll be no-lifing it like no one's business. You know what no-lifing means? No-lifing means that you just play the game and ignore all else. So that's what I'll be doing when Star Citizen launches. And the all-important question when that happens becomes, how do you kill that which has no life? Who gets that reference? Who gets that reference? I'm going to start dragging people in. I'll give you a hint. It's from 2006. South Park. There you go. North End Trooper. There you go. You know the name of the episode where that happened?
It's not an episode.
9 episodes.
It's an episode there.
What are you saying, Kusanagi? We're doing like Alma Kusanagi, fist face and popping face. What are you saying, Kusanagi?
That's from the movie. That's from the movie. Bigger, longer, uncut.
It might have been part of a movie, but it was originally from the World of Warcraft episode. Yes, it's called Make Love, Not Warcraft, October 4th, 2006.
Ooh, yeah. Gotcha, Admiral. I'm just playing.
My bad. It was so good, it was like a movie.
Yeah, well, it became like a movie with its popularity rising. But yeah, how do you kill that which had no life? How's everybody doing this week?
All right, yourself, good bud.
I'm doing all right tonight.
Doing well, thank you. All right, so shall we get started?
There we go.
Let's go.
All right, so first up we have our sneak peek. I'll put the sneak peek up right there. So the subtitle is, I hope the skies stay clear. And I believe that's it. Well, what do you guys think this is?
Torrent on a
Turret.
There is no N in turret.
Yeah, I'm used to saying it like that. It's
That's
Pyro.
like me saying Mr. Biz.
Yep, you're right. All right.
Yeah.
It's Pyro 3
Mm-hmm.
because of the yellow. Yeah, because of the yellow grass.
Yeah, Northern Trooper agrees with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Um,
is this one of
I
the
didn't know the
outposts?
mountain. I didn't
Underground
know the mountains
outposts?
were that blue. Is that
Yeah.
supposed to be the mountain?
That's a
I think
mountain.
it's a mountain, yeah.
I think
can
the
see
mountain-
sky. You can see the sky on the top. Right.
Is
Mm.
that what that? Oh,
That is a
okay.
mountain.
Okay. Ice blue mountain. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's a good guess. Pyro 3 put those mountains with an underground or a turret coming up to shoot people.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I remember that scene they showed us, not this past CitizenCon, but the one before when they first showed us the grass and the mountain in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But
So do you think
Yeah.
they'll have turrets for sale this coming 320?
yeah,
Well, they have land claims, so maybe why not turret to put on your land claims, right? No, I don't think they'll do that
FP,
this year.
can you zoom in on the picture still? On the
Enhanced.
left
Let me
hand-
go
on
to the
left-hand
web
side?
and come in.
Oh, okay.
Where do you want me to go?
Left hand bottom left.
Bottom left.
Yeah,
Right there?
bottom.
Enhanced.
Yeah, what is that?
What?
No, no, it's in the Nate.
Oh, that
yeah.
part?
What is that?
That's a paddle.
No, not that. No, it's further over to the left. Now you
To
moved
the
away.
left.
From it. Yeah, you moved away from it. Keep
Yeah.
going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
That's far to
What
go.
is that?
Mm.
Oh,
Enhanced.
Yeah, I've already did that. That's it.
Yeah,
I've enhanced all of can enhance, and I don't have Viagra.
You can see the license plate on there.
It
You can see what license
says we
plate.
break for no one.
he's
Yep.
kidding, Admiral.
I see a bag
You get it, Admiral, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you get it.
and some food.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right, but yeah, Pyro 3 it seems to be the consensus here. All right, so that is this week's sneak peek, or last week rather, Friday. Take that off, and then gonna scroll to the next one. So to have our weekly CitizenCon update, a couple of a few threads. CitizenCon 2953 community booth application ending soon. They did end, and they closed on July 31st, so you can no longer apply for a booth. But they had some updates, a reply to the thread, and one of them said, "Oh well, the application is done July 31st, so that's the one we just covered." But this one too, Iris Donovan said, "The booth should be 10 square feet inside. Also, for the sake of the application, please assume that it's 10 by 10. So he had a question about that. Is that 100 feet right? And so Ulf replied, it's actually 10 by 10. So you get a decent amount of space for your booth.
100.
Wait,
feet.
did he?
Wow. Wait.
That's what they said,
My
10 by 10.
goodness. Wow.
Hey,
I'm
that's
just-
what they said.
I'm just thinking, though,
That's
fastcart.
pretty big.
The reason why I'm laughing, I'm not laughing at this person. I'm just laughing that the thought that, okay, you would think that you're gonna get a 100 square foot area for a booth. Like, first of all, even if they did that, like, what are you gonna bring to fill that area up with?
Yeah, I'll be bringing my posse. I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna have a stage to premiere my comedic genius, my comedic talent. On there.
Goodness!
Yeah, you can come up and start beatbox and be my hype man.
Oh God! All right.
I don't think he thought that, because that's a third of a football field. I don't think he thought that one through. But hey,
we shall see. It's actually 10 by 10. That's what they say.
Yeah.
All right. And this is also to the same thread. Are all booths the same size, or do they vary? Indeed vary. You said booth size, as you just mentioned, is 10 by 10. What is the size of the booth? See above. What is the size of the table? We haven't seen the tables yet, so we can't give you an exact measurement. Can org request a third chair, or do they have to provide their own? You can request an additional chair. Is there even room for a third chair? We will fit a third chair. Do all the booths have a single frontage, or are the corner booths open on two sides? Depending on the booth design, both are possible. Is there scaffolding framework available on which to hang org banner behind the table? Yes. Will electricity be provided or available? Depending on the electrical need of the booth. What internet is provided or available? No internet is provided, so you're gonna have to rely on your mobile devices for connectivity yet. So that's what the thing said. What was that, Pop?
Now, I have a question. Okay.
What about?
Now, ships usually go on sale, right?
Right.
How are they going to provide us with a way to, or do we swipe a credit card somewhere, or?
Oh,
do
you
we
just
have
order on your
internet?
phone.
Oh, on your phone? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just order on your phone.
Man, okay.
Okay, wait. I want to bring that up. Would you like to? Okay, so if I go to Hurston, if I go to Hurston, I can buy ships at that terminal place, right? Would you like something like that at CitizenCon?
Cool.
No. Well, I'm pretty sure they'll have an ATM available somewhere at the convention center. Yeah, but who knows how much, what kind of fees you'll be hit with if you try to use it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Besides, I mean, who pays cash? You're gonna walk up to Chris Roberts and say,
Not
here's my money for the new ship. Give it to me."
Not me.
Some people do it.
We take no bills.
Danger Hobo, you guys have phone, don't you?
No, what is that? What is the phone?
Right. You going back into Who Cloned Tyrone era right there. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right, and this is their final update for CitizenCon. The CitizenCon 2953 access tickets are still available. For personal reasons, I'm trying to keep track of when they stop selling this ticket, because that'd be a whole thing.
Do you think that'll be probably like around like September, maybe early October?
I'm guessing September 15th. That's my guess. It could be August 31st for all I know, but I'm guessing September 15th.
I don't think they're going to sell out. I think that the conference place they have has the ability to like, unless they're like going to have like 10, 15,000 people to that, they probably have the room to get that many people in that they just have to open up another section, And then,
that's what I'm thinking, Admiral Christian. They probably have a cutoff date just to let the venue prepare and everything like that. But they probably won't sell out, as in, they probably just stop selling tickets.
To give them a update. Get you.
All right, so that is the CitizenCon update for this week. Up next, we have August 2023 subscriber promotions, and you get racing jackets. Welcome to August and gear up to Alpha 320 upcoming in PTU. To help you get the most out of the upcoming patch and significant update in racing, August tip of the month is the blistering Origin 350R. Ooh, so fast, focused, and hugely agile. I don't know about agile. It's perfect for exploring, dancing new circuits, and chasing PBs and Arena Commander. This month, players is appropriately themed too, so subscribers exclusive racing jackets from Mist, Origin, and Murray Cup. So here you take a look at the Origin one, and this is the one for Centurion. So nice. Work it. This coming up one is for the Prestige Origin. So this is also Origin. Oh no, it says Mist. Okay. Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah. This one is Mist. So Prestige Mist Racing Jacket. Nice.
The red one is.
And then you have the
Prestige
Murray Cup.
Murray Cup. Okay.
Murray Cup. Oh, I like that one. Okay. But that one you have to pay for. This is not the Imperator or the Centurion. That one you have to pay extra for.
Why they always
Uh,
make it why? Now I have a
Why
question.
the
Why
red
do
one
they
always got to
make
be
it
extra?
right? Why? What is
Because
like
they know that
red
people want
with
it. It's like black and red are the two most popular color, and that's what they make people buy, Pop. You know,
right? And when you see it,
they
you
got to make
always
that
know the
paper.
red one. The red one is gonna cost you.
They got to make
Okay.
that paper, and that's all three at the same time. So yes.
Okay.
And I was surprised because I subscribed last month for the cup. I got the Big Benny cup. So I'm still a
Okay.
subscriber. It hasn't run out on me. It hasn't expired on me yet. So I managed to get these on the 1st of August, and I'm surprised because normally it's like the second or like the end of first week of August or like the second week of August before we get them. But we got them on August 1st. So
Mm.
cool.
I wonder if I got some because I stopped my subscription. I had to cut back a little bit, pay for this trip.
Yeah, I know. But go and check it out. Check out your hangar. So yeah, the Prestige Mary Cape Cup Racing Jacket is available to all subscribers to pledge from a subscriber exclusive store. And to become a part of the subscription, you can subscribe before August 8th, 2000 UTC. If you subscribe after, you can pick these up all the way going back to 2014 in the subscriber exclusive store to fill in any gap that you may have. Earnable in game. They have a 3-month exclusivity window, after which you'll be able to get them in in-game loot system. And the vehicle of the month, as we previously covered, is a 350R, a formidable competitor without compromise and all-out racing. It's probably one of the fastest straight-line racers when it comes to ships. And you get the subscriber merchandise discount. I didn't really buy anything merchandise-wise, so I didn't really partake in that. But you can if you want to. And because I'm a subscriber, I actually have access to the store now. So you can see all the stuff that, are in there. I didn't see the jacket in here yet. Trying to scroll down to see if I can find it. Nope, you don't see it in here. But if I go to the store, merchandise store. No, that's the merchandise store. I want to go to the subscriber store. Tab. But before we do that, talk about. That's it. Yeah. So let me go to the merchandise store. I'm gonna. That's the. Okay, that's $4. So that's not too bad.
Okay.
So the red one is $4, Pop. You got $4 you can spare?
Nope.
That's like a cup of coffee.
That's a sandwich.
That's a sandwich.
No, yeah,
That's
that's
half
a
a
sandwich.
sandwich.
Half a
Half a
sandwich.
Oh, by the way, if anyone wants to come in and join us, talk about this stuff, come on in. The link is down below, but I'll put it in chat again. Thought I had it here, but okay. Put this link and come in and talk with us. We don't bite. Yeah, so there,
Sometimes.
$4. Hey, I was trying to be nice.
No,
But
we
yes.
bite sandwiches.
All right. So yeah, that is this month August subscriber promotion. So if you want a jacket, go ahead and subscribe. Up next we have this is a Spectrum thread that came up on July 27th. So I believe that was Friday or maybe Thursday. But the question was, every subscriber I know just lost access a short while ago to the subscriber access, and also responded a day later. Hey, thanks for bringing it to attention. The team is aware of the situation and working hard to fix the issue. I have access, so evidently they did fix the issue. So if you didn't have access, now you know they had an issue. Up next we have Star Citizen Monthly Report. I didn't get a chance to really take a look at it, but I thought this it caught my eye while I was scrolling down. Last month, the community supported and team announced a turbulent joining CIG. We covered that on Soul Talk. The team is prepared for the upcoming return of CitizenCon. We talk about that. The in-person celebration of all things celebration. And they announced this collaboration with Atmo Esports for the event too. CitizenCon is capable to be the most epic yet, with cosplay contests, community booths, and now the biggest dogfighting tournament in the various fight or fight coming straight from the show floor as well. We have many cool surprises in store for you. Can't wait to see that the community team. And that is from, additionally, the team will report various community-driven in-game events, including the Great Cat Social and the military-style parade organized by the French community. The ultimate passionate players out in the verge returning to the beautiful city of Paris for a bar citizen and attending a virtual bar citizen. And that is a picture from one of the bar citizens. Of course, the originator had to be the one talking at that point. Messing with you, originator. Lastly, the community assisted introducing a brand new mission spotlight series and launched a screenshot contest to reward the best images from players that take on the Arlington Mounting mission. So yeah, that caught my eye when it comes to the monthly report. And then anything else, cut anyone else die?
I would like to know, where was that picture above the virtual bar citizen? Where was that
I
taken?
believe that's Paris. But they just mentioned Paris.
Wow. Okay.
I believe so. I'm not sure.
So cool. That is so cool. Okay. Nice
maybe they have a hint in the file name. Nope, it's just a normal file. Just cover crop. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Oh well.
Yep. Nice gathering though.
Yep. All right. So up next we have. Let me scroll down to my notes so I can get everything here. EP must report. So this is the roadmap roundup. We covered the roadmap roundup last week, but they had a reply since last week. On July 31st, Aurelia was replying to Sienna, talking about active ships are just NPC. So hey Sienna, there's nothing to worry about here. The still recover cargo missions target NPC ship, because Sienna Hannon said it would be horrible punitive design to create dynamic missions targeting traders as soon as they load up their cargo. So yeah, you're not targeting players, you're targeting NPCs. So that was a clarification there. Up next we have, oh yeah, so I expect this one will draw some interest. This is about the Ares series, and we're done by North End Trooper. How are you doing, North End?
Howdy. Happy pre.
What's up?
Stingray, thank you for redeeming face bucks. I thought that was a bet for a moment. My bad, but thank you for that. So yeah, so this is from Sin Atobe or Toby. I don't know how you pronounce that. This is from the Inferno product information. Scroll down to Ares Inferno V offer. Quickly overwhelm all sizes. Could developers explain how it's done, please? And I'm clicking on the screenshot that they provided about this vehicle. Enormous SF-7B ballistic Gatling can quickly overwhelm enemies of all sizes with devastating sustained barrage of armor-piercing rounds. So yeah, that doesn't quite fit, but that's from I believe that was unchanged from the concept phase, where they probably thought that's what would happen. That they have a reply here. Logie Clap, the 5-star. Thank you for the raid of 20-some people. Hello everyone, welcome. This is Soul Talk. We talked about what's going on this week in Star Citizen, and right now we're covering a Spectrum thread that have never replied. So this one is covering the Ares, the Starfighter, and I'll scroll back up just to say, they want an explanation for what does it mean by quickly overwhelm all sizes when it comes to the Ares Starfighter. And I'm just going to reply to, just going to read to you what Logie Clat you said. Thoughts of this week ISC. We're getting to ISC at the end of the show, so we have like another hour, 40 minutes before we get to that. But yeah, we'll be getting to that in a bit. And hey, thank you all and welcome. But basically, what to say about the Ares, say, context is important. They made it very clear in this thread that the amount of aim assist a weapon has is dependent on the intended purpose of what the weapon is. There is no contradiction. Aim assist are needed for fighting weapon, not for the weapons that are meant to hit comparatively static target, which is what the areas were built for. If we add an aim assist to these large weapons, and we find ourselves in a situation where the areas perform better than specialized dogfighters, that is exactly the problem they had on release. It was not working as intended. In the end, we were aiming for a balanced combat system as Star Citizen is not pay-to-win game, and not a pay-to-win game. You have to pick the right tools for the right job. Then the editor, heated early discussion again, going to shorten this up by summing up past posts. The current areas will not stay as it is. That's what many of us have been saying all along. The current state is a compromise to keep the current balance between ships until the bigger updates come in. We will update the areas once we can move the gunnery update and master mode stuff over from Squadron 42 to the PU. Do not ask when it is closed. It is not closed, sorry, it is not closed. We do have a plan to give the ion cannon style RPM back. Whether that happens with the gunnery update or before, we don't know yet. The area gun will likely not have aim assist, but will get more precise tips with the new gunnery system. Spread is currently examining Squadron 42. Almost all shipped weapons will get a spread to a certain degree. Spread values will therefore likely change on the areas as well. And finally, do not expect the areas to simply kill targets by sitting outside a defensive ring. That is simply not the kind of gameplay that they want for it. While the area weaponry outranges a lot of defensive turrets, it is effective weapon range against maneuvering targets of any kind is much lower due to the slower, high damage projectile. You still have the option to artillery, but if you actually want to kill subcomponents on a bigger ship, you would have to get close. So
Interesting.
that's summarized. What was that, Kuchinagi?
I get what they're saying. Like you could shoot a target, say an Idris, like from far away, and get hits on the target. But you're not going to get you won't be able to hit hit the subcomponents of like the engines. Like in the brochure, it was like the idea is to take a few ions and ballistic versions to take on an Ares and an Idris, excuse me. But I mean, yeah, I actually have one. I went from the Ion. I went to the Inferno just because they nerfed the Ion a bit, and and I was flying with somebody else this weekend, and he had the same issue where the engines are just so, probably helping out a lot of people, but the engines are so nerfed in the back that they're very vulnerable to being shot. So really, the only way I see the Ares right now is doing strafing runs like an A10 would. You're not going to do any you're just going to do a strafing run, get the hell out of there, come back, when they don't see you, do another strafing run and just really easily, just burn down their shields or get through. I mean, if I get ballistics, I'm not even touching their shields pretty much. But you're just coming in and getting out. It's just because if they target your subcomponents, which includes your engines, you're screwed. You usually get this really heavy imbalance where you try to push straight and then the engines just throws you all out of whack. It's really the ship is really bad in that aspect right now, and they're saying right here that again it's not going to be as maneuverable as light fighters, so like a Gladius or an Arrow, and they can just run circles around you. So the way Star Citizen has always been talking about it is finding the right ship for the right job, and they're just trying to get the ship back to that location.
Yeah, and Griffin likes to say, don't buy a ship for what it can do now. Buy a ship for what the role it'll fill in the game, or if you just like the ship. Because buying ship for the meta now, you'll be disappointed probably when the game launches. So, yeah.
True.
All right. So continuing on, this is the same thread. Talking about Yogi Clat responding to other people in the same thread. We always listen to feedback. We have a whole team, players, experienced team, for that would generate recommendations based on written feedback and ICs. I'm not sure what IC is, and check back if the feedback is actually visible in the game data itself. That way they can avoid bias effect. They usually wait for PET to create recommendations, and that's the player experience team, to create recommendations. And they already created a backlog for us that are several hundred issues of smaller improvement listed. We also meet weekly to talk about the weekly progress. However, whether or not we act on the feedback, and more importantly, when, is up to the combat dev. We don't just say, nope, not going to do it. I said multiple times the areas need work, and so does it properly. But it's certainly not as important as wider things like master mode, the gunning system, etc., that affect all players. We know that at this point that practically the whole vehicle combat geometry of Star Citizen will change with master mode, and the gunnery changes, So there's the question of how much work we should put into something for which we know it'll change soon. So how much work you want to put into something that's going to change soon? That's the question. Specifically for the Ion, we actually invested some time a couple of months back to create a charge mechanic, but we couldn't get the required assist from the two other teams. So I decided to shelve that work for the time being until those resources become available. So the perceived lack of feedback is not really proofing that our approach doesn't work. It simply didn't get there yet. The combat gameplay is heavily under construction right now, and there are countless examples of this. Ares is just one case that comes up with a vocal user base, but the other suffer similar problems. E.g., almost all medium fighters are lacking at the moment. And we will get to all this in time. Thoughts about that?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The only thing
Makes
is
sense.
when they first advertised the Ares and the Ion, they didn't mention fighting smaller crafts wouldn't stand a chance, but then they changed, I guess, but like the disclaimer says, subject to change.
Yep, subject to change. That's a big old claim a lot of people ignore.
Yeah.
And I think they have. What was that?
I was going to say something. Just I don't understand how they haven't designed a ship like this. This ship is supposed to be anti-capital ship, right?
Right.
So why isn't they just not design the ship or program the ship to be where it can only target lock on large and larger ships? So it can't target an arrow, but it can target a hammerhead.
I think that's a slippery slope, because then that'll lead to why can't a small ship target a bigger ship? So it goes both ways. But yeah,
I think, you know what though, to be honest, I mean, this is just my opinion. Because when the Ares came out, right, if I remember correctly, its power of its gun was, I guess you could say, up to par, right?
Yeah, when it was released, yeah.
Right. So the ships that got the little ships that got in front of it basically got one shot, right?
Yeah.
Arrows, stuff like that. That's should be what it should be. Now, I think a part maybe they were saying that something about because of how the way it flowed, it was kind of fast, or maybe it was
it was OP.
It was OP. I mean, but see, the gun should be what it should be, though.
Yeah.
Right. I think maybe it should have turned. You should have turned down the its movement. I don't know exactly, but I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying about the aim assist.
Right.
So imagine you trying to wield a Mod 2's handheld or a Vulcan minigun. It ain't gonna be easy. You can do it, but it won't be easy. Versus, an AR, an M4. You're not gonna if the dude in front of you had while you're holding the Mod 2s, he's not gonna have a good day because you were able to get that in front of him. But if he's squiggling around with an M4, you're not gonna have an ability to. You're not gonna have an opportunity to hit them. That's what I'm talking about. The aim assist. They need to tune the aim assist for that ship. Where
that's what they're talking about.
Arrow can't
get the problem with all medium ships that they need to address, but they're good to it when they get to it.
Yeah, I get that. It's I don't like what Fistaface was saying. When it first came out, it was on par where it should have been, but they nerfed it into the ground. That the power of it and the aim assist.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't
that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it wasn't the most twitchiest ship out there. Yeah, it couldn't go head to head with an arrow just because it was too large for that. So I think they redirected the nerf in the wrong area.
Yeah.
And
You see,
this
that's
is, and oh, I'm gonna move on because we got
Yeah.
other stuff. But I just want to point out this is the final dev post in that thread as of today, anyway. So she talked about the vocal group talking about the areas. Snow said just vocal. I think you need to apologize, and, you know. But the yoga class responded, it certainly wasn't meant negatively. The area spread pops up every couple of weeks. It literally does crop up every couple of weeks, which shows the past lane, and then do like to engage the discussion and explain what's going on. So that's why that's what's going on there. But yeah, that is the most recent update about the post about the area and the Inferno and the Ion. All right, so moving on, the Arkstar map looks broken. This is back in March 1st. Jake Acapella responded in June 19th that they're aware of the issue. And we got another update from, I believe from Adrian from Turbulent. So hello there, the Arkstar map is not working again. Thank you for your patience. And then, you know, people said thank you. And then a few days later, or maybe, no, the same day, someone is having issues with the star map. So, out of curiosity, I'm not going to do it on here, but come and check the Arkstar map to see if it's working at the moment. Should be under robertspaceindustries.com/star map, or maybe Arkstar map. One or the other. Anyway, it should be under the app. You can go to the top, but yeah. Because I'm just curious. Oops, I clicked on my in there. But yeah, so the Arkstar map should be fixed, but we don't know yet. And this is something I didn't know about. The Mastodon Star Citizen RSI account. So this is from Erlac, High CRD, Possible to Mirror Twitter news on the official Mastodon account as well. And Galactica responded, hey there, I appreciate you creating a bot to give it a presence on the platform. With all the Twitter drama that occurred over the last 3 months, we've been keeping an eye on a variety of social platforms people have been flocking to, including Mastodon. With that being said, we don't have plans to officially support it. That is not to say they won't consider it in the future, but they just have to be mindful of where they're putting all their resources. As of now, Mastodon doesn't seem to get as much engagement and presence from our community, the Star Citizen community. So, has anyone ever heard of Mastodon before
This
now?
is my first time. I'm
Thank
looking
you.
that up.
Yep. It's a Fediverse. I can't say the right term, but it's basically broken up to separate instances. So, like Twitter as a whole is one single instance, but Mastodon, Lemmy, they're hundreds of little instances that interlock and interchange, work together. Think like a email server.
By the way, Architect TV Star Map currently works, so yay!
Yeah, I just checked
Yeah, I
it. It
was
seems
in
fine.
Is that timing weird that happened right after CIG absorbed Turbulent?
What was that?
That happened within a week, didn't it?
Yeah, it happened. Well, technically, Turbulent has been with CIG for a while, but you know they announced the merger or whatever we're gonna call it last week. But yeah.
Well, the question is, when did it get to a level where people get so ticked off with it that it was brought up? Like he's asking is it because they just bought Turbulent and they're like, hey, get this done now, or what?
I don't know. Might have been something new. I mean, like I said, you're talking about the star map, correct? Or you're talking about
No, star map. I think Star Map.
No, okay, yeah. So back to the star map. The star map has been down. Like the thread for the star map, it says March 1st. So that's like what, 5 months? So it's been a non-issue for a while. But yeah. I don't think it's just something that just happened because of the merger or the announcement. I think it's something they were trying to work on for a time, but they didn't have the resources to fix it. But now they did, and now it's fixed, hopefully. But then back to Mastodon. That's the first reply for the thread. Then they got a couple of more replies from Galactica. of the emerging platform, Thread, that's the Instagram one, has seemed to be the most promising as an alternative. While we do have a presence on Thread already, a lot of baking still needs to be done on that platform before we dedicate our full support to it. I would tell you if there's a specific platform you wanted to see our presence on to make sure you're engaging in and not only our content but others who are also posting Star Citizen related content. The more we see our community getting involved in on the platform, the easier it is to justify dedicating resources to it. Citizen Talk on TikTok is a wonderful example of this. So they have a presence on TikTok. I don't use TikTok myself, but I do use Instagram and I do use Twitter. I don't really use Facebook, but I'm on Facebook. But as far as Thread goes, we saw a lot of activity in the first week. They created the account, but the new shiny toys seem to be forgotten by most of its users now. There were actual reports all over the web showing how activity declined on the platform, so it's not just us. I suspect that once they implement a better search function that allows you to search through trending topics, hashtag, and a better algorithm to show you content related to your interest, it'll be a better place than it is now. Thread, if you're reading this right now, please make a web-based platform to save that sanity. But who knows, maybe they'll surprise us that MySpace we all want and need now. All right, so yeah. And then one more reply, talking about availability in Europe. Trust me when I say that I'm not personally a fan of Meta. Okay, I'm going to get this straight. I'm going to read this again. This is from Galactica. Trust me when I say that I'm personally not a fan of Meta's social platform, especially as someone who has been managing social media accounts professionally for the last 7+ years. I'm totally aware that it's not available in the EU, and I love more than anything to have for someone to build something amazing and new that's fully functional and would blow everything else out of the water, but it sadly hasn't happened yet. Blue Sky is one of those that they've been monitoring, but it's been a very watered down version of Twitter, made by the same people with additional complexity of being invite only, which is kind of a major limiting factor. Yeah, I tried to get on Blue Sky. I'm on the waiting list. But what about other people's thoughts?
I don't know, man. I guess social media it's I don't know. Okay. I mean, it's a lot to keep my head around. I remember when it really kind of started out with chat rooms and AOL, and
I mean, you know,
now
we could all go back to bulletin board. Remember those BBS system?
yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Oh my goodness, bulletin.
Or use that. I remember using that.
Yeah, I remember using that. Then you're talking about your chat rooms, Yahoo to you said AOL, then AOL Messenger. Oh man,
it's just a lot of fluff. I mean, it's like I don't. It's like back when you had MySpace, and then MySpace turned into Facebook, and then every grandparent in the world went to Facebook, and now no one uses it, and then it became X, Y, Z.
It was no longer cool. Yeah,
isn't cool. So yeah, I mean, this new thing is the cool factor. You should get this one, CIG, because this is what kids are using these days. I'm like, we don't need 15-year-old kids right now. Maybe in 10 years when it comes out.
What is it now? Like the hottest thing on the street still is what, TikTok, right?
TikTok, yeah, I think so.
So, the thing about like with social media, it's like it's a fad type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times a new social media platform comes out. I get my name on there, and I never use it.
It's getting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of back to that point where it's like, let's just go back to the telephone system.
I don't have Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I don't have a landline. You're talking about? I don't have a landline.
Yeah, let's go back to the landline. Let's go back to the rotary phone.
You're gonna get one if you want.
A whole bunch of, like we saw on the other day, a whole bunch of kids wouldn't even know how to make a phone call.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
You have to go outside and meet people.
Yeah, Bob missed the Yahoo chat. That was with the bomb. I'm like, I didn't remember Yahoo chat, but I
remember Yahoo chat. Yeah, a place where you can be whatever you want to be.
I'm so glad I never have to listen to a modem anymore. That sound the modem made was so annoying and so loud. So yeah, things have gotten better, but things have gotten worse too. So yeah, the
So you don't
platform.
like the so you don't like the sound of you got mail.
Oh,
No,
no,
he
I'm
didn't
talking
like
about
that.
when you connect.
I
The
know.
noise.
Do that again. How'd it go?
Nah, I'm not gonna. No, thank you. Anyway, you can clip that if you want. Make it your ringtone.
I love that
for
face.
like,
I love that face though, that you made on it.
We'll talk later.
All right.
Call me later. But yeah. So yeah, that is the
If
platform.
anyone here needs a new
social
ringtone,
media.
then just contact fastcart. He'll give you that audio file.
You can just take the audio file from the recording that we just made. But yeah, be my guest. Anyway. So maybe I'll sign up for Mastodon. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll
And
see.
it's my first time hearing about it today, so we'll see.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm here just shaking my head. All right. So up next we have the Arlington Game Screenshot Contest. We covered this last week, but there was an update, another update from the dev. And this one is from Freya, the same person who created the thread. So hey there, at the focus of the contest is the interest itself and not a specific NPC. We updated the original post to reflect this thing. So yeah, they want you to take a picture with the final scene. Excuse me, with the final scene with the interest. And then Kwaku CIG said, so he did not, but thanks for finding that they just fixed it. So yeah, if you go back to the original thread, keep in mind, the interest. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so you're missing, so you choose to accept it. I'm reading this part at the bottom here. She captures exciting screenshots featuring the interest flown by NPCs in the final battle of the interest stolen by Arlington Gang Belgium mission. Submit the screenshot to the community hub or as a reply to the challenge announcement on Twitter with the hashtag #StarCitizen or both for a chance to win a fearsome fighter. So yeah, they want to pick the wood of the interest, not the NPCs. So that's the clarification they made for the screenshot contest. Okay, so this is the question from, I gotta scroll up for this one. Let me just copy and paste this so I make it easier for myself to find. Oops. Okay. So, all the missions are hostile missions. So this is from Jasper. With new cargo mission added to the progress tracker, we've seen less and great response from developers when it met with player concern about including fight by default. Seeing a perfect attitude of every mission should have combat. It's like you don't cry about it from the mission team. It's frustrating. I guess that's a screenshot from what they talking about. Trying to get down to the actual question that they have. There's so much creative potential in the mission. We know the mission team is more than capable of it. They put off some really cool and fun things already. I really don't want them to get stuck in the box of being afraid that it might be holding back a player if it's not actively being shot out. So they want missions other than combat missions. And this is from Krakow from CIG. Okay. This was the direct response about people worrying that PvP was going to be thwarted by cargo missions. Okay, so that's what it is there. They're worried about PvP when it comes to PvE missions, basically. That's what I'm getting. They said there are PvE players at the heart in our game, and most of the missions are that they built are PvE focused. And most games that they personally play seem to have some of it and be taken to expand it away from the original point. We will have PvE missions and PvP focused missions like we do now. However, due to our living, breathing environment, any of those PvE missions could become PvPvE by the way of a pirate just stumbling onto your location. This was about cargo running. It's possible that pirates could interdict, find, and hunt you down and steal your cargo, and just goes with the living, breathing world of the verse. They want to lead the cargo up to the player from getting from A to B. Calculating expecting piracy is part of this. Now, some cargo will be high value, meaning the increased risk of piracy, whereas cargo would not be worth pirating so they meant to just let you go, and this is even to find you first. I just want to clarify that the system, like Clint Nanton, this should be heavily policed by piracy PvP, while not disabled gameplay, which why is more discouraged via the best versus reward that the system presents. Places like Pirate System will be more PvP side because it's unlawful system, meaning there's less risk of a piracy. Meaning there is less risk to the piracy?
Oh,
no, the less risk of to the pirate. That's what I meant. To the pirate. Handholding refers to markets everywhere, leading players constantly without allowing them to think. But yeah. So what do y'all think about that one? Nothing?
Not much. Not
Not
much.
much.
Not much.
I think they just said it all. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Much.
So yeah.
I mean, is Jumptown a PvP event?
Okay.
No,
Because that's
no,
like,
no,
it's like
no,
it's set up
Kuznagi,
like, hey, this is a
Kuznagi,
PvE
it's a
thing.
conga line. It's a conga line.
I'm just saying, it seems like they initiate it like it's a PvE thing, and then just people like, hey, look it, I got an A2. So and then it just turns into, it's like that just what is it when the iron? It's just a naturally flowing thing that kind of turns into an event that people enjoy more. It turns into a PvP thing. If people can get people closer together and there's action to be had and money to be made, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going on with the cargo ships right now, because there's a lot of money with it if you can find somebody hauling gold.
Yeah, but Jay said Dumptown is always a PvP event. It's not always, because you do have that conga line. Some people just get cooperative.
I was in the Congo line one time. I was definitely there, and it was kind of like
what you're saying
my
is
old org.
So Kuznagi, what you're
I'm
saying
part
is
of the problem.
I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, my org went in there. We were like, oh, we're shutting this thing. We're gonna help protect it. And then I forget exactly, but it was like 2 times, and then one of them was like that, but the other one was like, people just went in there like, hey, how's it going? It's like, hey, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but I believe there's one more. Okay. There's another reply. I'm not gonna go to the whole thing. I'm just gonna highlight some stuff. But it's the same thread. All missions are hostile missions. Combat isn't focused in the scope. I'm not sure if you played the most recent non-combat focused mission, but I can go over the newest one for you. They're starting the salvage mission, where near the LEO, where security is more intense, times restricted to the area around the salvage. There's no AI response against the player who accepts them in that area. It's just you and the ship to be salvaged. Illegal salvage mission, they put you the unlawful salvage or tar pit and illegal contract is putting outright that you need to be equipped. Then there's one more mission that opens to a possible free mission, where it respawned a bunch of ships in a black outside comm array range, and people will get sent to the same location. We've seen people share the salvage and people fight for control of the location, both of which what they intended to see. So yeah, not all missions are combat missions. That's the point of this. Hello, Bastion. Hey, Nomad. So yes, this is another thread. This is called "What's Going on with Player Invisibility." Yes, player invisibility is a thing that I've been hearing about. Let me put the thread in this chat real quick. Let me scroll it. Well, I think the title says it all. What's going on with player invisibility? So yeah. Bitter CID says, rather than being one bug, there's a combination of invisibility issues. Some of them are fixed, but the remaining ones have been difficult to track down. Initially, the debugging needed to investigate the issue was pretty complex, and they were helping out with gathering the information. As you rightly stated, our PvP community hates this issue, so I joined different Discord servers and asked for help with getting the issue reproduced so that they can debug the data on it. These process helps with 2 things. One, the developers improve debug command used to gather information on this in such a way that it's no longer needed for someone with admin permission to easily get the data, thus allowing QA to get the developers information they need. 2, it helped us to discover that there were multiple invisibility issues. The current state of things is that we need to see if the issue is still happening in 3.20. As there have been a number of changes to the code related to what they cause an issue, what might be causing an issue, sorry. If we end up continuing to see invisible characters, we'll start gathering debug information again and iterating upon the tools we're using to do that until the developers can find a fix for the issue. So yeah, they're looking into the invisibility issue. Okay, and this is another tab with another post within the same thread, the invisibility issue. British strategies posted. The issue console isn't really it doesn't allow for real-time debugging, and the initial investigation for this required that we catch the issue as it's happening rather than afterward. They initially started out asking for help, and the Spectrum testing channel with no one that was online was having luck reproducing the issue. As these things tend to go, it's easy to get it to happen when the developer isn't watching. Because of that, they had to ask for additional help, which resulted in them getting data that they needed. So yeah, visibility issues. Anyone face that? How big an issue does it seem to be?
Not I.
Anyone in chat? How the invisibility issues? I know that they encountered it on one of the shenanigans on Soul Citizen. Karate was invisible. So yeah. No, Jay said she was invisible. I see you, Jay. But yeah. All right, so yeah, that's the invisibility issue that it's being worked on. A couple of more threads before we get to IRC. For non-bug that caused significant pain, whether the appropriate channel should ask for a fix. Issue cancel results in archival. That's basically what the person wants to know. And they got a reply from Void Kobold, CIG, that hey, sounds like the area you're wanting would be feedback, as they can give you personal insight into gameplay or features that don't feel right. Aren't very rewarding or think can be improved in some way. The devs tend to browse the area pretty regularly to gather notes from player sentiment regarding various aspects of the project. The feedback section can be found there. So yeah, if you have a suggestion, go to the feedback form. I'll put a link in chat. There you go. So if you have a suggestion, go ahead and go there and go to the feedback form. Finally, well, not finally, 2 more. This is from Twitter. Ship Showdown will return on August 7th, so that's this weekend, I guess. Start thinking about creative ways to champion your favorite vehicles on Community Hub using social using hashtag SC Ship Showdown. So my question for this is, which ship will be the new meme for this year? So last year last year we all know with the meme. So what do you think this year's Ship Showdown meme will be?
The Mariah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can see that Mariah. The fur, you mean the fur?
The Mariah Carey. See?
Thank you for doing that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, Chad is saying CAR Pisces X1 Terrapin. I don't know about the Terrapin.
Of course, it'll be in the top 4.
No, Jade, I stole your joke and made it my own. Okay, I've been using that joke at least once a week.
The Mariah Carey, was that her joke?
Yeah, that was her joke originally. And then,
really? I thought that was
and then Wicked Wookie did it on one of the scooter video. So they both came up with it independently, but around the same time. But I've been doing it extensively. But yeah, so yeah, the Ship Showdown is coming up August 7th. So that's that's next week, Monday, I guess. So I'm looking forward to the new memes. Come at me, bro. Hopefully, I won't be as upset this year as I was last year. So we shall see. Finally, who's ready to witness Lloyd? 6-14 will go head to head, so they have a final top 8. tune into the group stage of Fight or Flight on August 19th. So Fight or Flight Day, August 19th. Registration closes July 17th, so it's already closed. So yeah, Fight or Flight coming up August 19th. So check that out. And then one more thread. Oh yeah, this is what this week in Star Citizen. Let me read my note real quick. This Friday, Star Citizen Live returns with a new game dev episode with Lewis Thompson from the Interactable team as they create something new for the verse. Starting at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UTC. So yes, there is a Star Citizen Live this week, or tomorrow rather. All right, so with that, we're up to the ISC. This week ISC is called Inside Star Citizen. Hey Now, it's a Rastar. I've been having that song in my head for like the past 3 hours since I've seen that title, unfortunately. Thank you for that, whoever came up with that title. I believe it's either Jake or Jared. Probably Jared, but I'm not sure. But this is 11 minutes long. I watched it. I couldn't really find a break in it, so I'm going to let the whole thing flow. And, you know, sit back, get a snack, get something to drink, and let's enjoy ISC.
Rastar, first introduced in development at CitizenCon 2951, is a tool that allows developers to easily place and manipulate structures on the surface of planets and moons in systems Stanton, Pyro, and beyond. And in the time since, work's progressed to stabilize and shore up the tech so the team can use it on a whole host of locations, from the most recent derelict settlements to a reconfiguration of existing UGFs in the upcoming Alpha 320.
Currently in the Stanton system, there are 70 underground facilities, or UGFs as we call them. And when these were built a couple of years ago, we had the kits to build a wide variety of these assets. However, due to technical limitations, we weren't able to realize their full potential. At that time, we had 70 locations, but we only had 2 security UGFs and 2 drug UGFs. This isn't a case of we haven't had enough assets or enough time to do the art. Up until this point, we have all the things that we need to do the job. The Rastar tool has really just allowed us to take this to the next level. We are now able to go back and to revisit these 70 locations to create a wide amount of variety so that each location doesn't look like a copy-paste version of the other. This has allowed us to really go back, spend some time with these locations and help them realize their full potential.
Rastar is our in-house planetary location building tool. It uses an RTS placement system combined with modular elements to allow the artist to build locations at the surface of planets and celestial bodies. Since CitizenCon, we highly focus on usability and stability to make the tool rock solid. It's a small project by 3 people, Mark, Nis, and I, and we are excited for the developers to be able to use it now.
These are not the new UGFs that you've probably heard about in events like CitizenCon. These are just the same old UGFs, but we've just given them a fresh coat of paint and we're going to be placing them alongside the existing locations and just giving them a bit of a refresh. Let me show you how Rastar works in the engine. So here we are on Daymar. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of the Rastar tool in action and how we build up a location from scratch. So the first thing that we would usually do, not in this case with the UGS because they already have predefined locations, but we do a little bit of location scouting on the planet to find a nice, cool location. So I'm going to open up the Rastar tool over here, and the first thing that I need to do is create a location. Before I go any further, I do need to say that the UI for the Rastar tool as it stands is not the final version that the players are going to see at the end of the day. This is purely for artistic and development purposes, and I will say it has definitely come a long way in the 2 years that I've been using it. So the first thing we do is we create a location. We get this grid on the ground over here, which allows us to define the location size and apply different effects and statuses to the location. We have some settings for the aesthetics like dirt and wear, which I can get into in a little bit. But the first thing that I want to do is create a much larger location size because I know that I want to cover quite a large footprint. And then we're going to go ahead and add an element from the UGF main buildings. And let's add a drug one to the mix over here. So that's going to be the base building that everything is dressed around. That's going to be the center point of this location. The cool thing that Rastar enables us to do is also have certain modifiers and volumes applied to our object containers, so that, for example, if I were to move this location up, the terrain would automatically conform to the ground that needs to be. That just saves artists a lot of time from having to do these sort of things manually and allows us to focus on the creative side of things. The next thing we need is 3 turrets. These turrets, depending on whether you are at a security UGF or a drug UGF, will react in different ways to the player. Obviously more hostile in a drug environment than if you were in a normal friendly environment. So these will go just dotted around the place, and these currently don't have any turrets spawned on them, but they do that when I hop into game. The next thing we want to do is we want to focus on large to small shapes and dressing. So the first thing I might do over here when walking through this process is get some of these larger clusters, these shipping containers. The UGFs are used for storage as well as research, so having ample space for storage outside as well as in is always good to have. And now I just want to define like the footprint of the space, so dividing it up into sub areas as well as the larger UGFs. So we can have, you know, maybe some structures like research stations and habitations on the exterior, and just break that into little branches of spaces. We might have one over here, and then maybe let's spread this location out a little bit. Maybe let's have a little bit of dressing near these turrets. So I'll grab one of these clusters. Cool thing with Rastar, you can also do like quick rotates before you place stuff, so you have a good idea of what stuff is going to look like before you do. Just like to get a little bit of unevenness to the terrain over here, helps things from feeling too flat. And let's get one of these larger structures in the back over here, these sort of like chimneys. So this is how I would normally go about creating like 3 distinct separate locations, even within one larger point of interest. So now the point from this afterwards would be to just create paths leading to and from the UGF that would naturally draw the player in, and then to set dress with smaller elements. So there's some more functional things that I need to do first. For example, the UGF does come with these 3 floodlights, but we might need extra areas of illumination elsewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and place some extra floodlights around here. When the Rastar tool is turning red like that, it's just doing a collision check on all of the objects around it to make sure I'm not placing anything on top of each other, and just making sure everything is kept neat and tidy. So I might need to just place it over there, and then if I want it closer, I can always snap it to a surface closer. Now that everything should be able to be visible at any time of day or night, since we are working with a very dynamic time of day over here, now I want some more functional things like roads leading up towards the UGF. So we have these over here, might be a little bit small to see. Just like a generic path that leads up to the UGF. I'm just going to do a quick rotate over these. And then, of course, all of our normal editor functionality is also linked to the Rastar location. So, for example, if I want to align this road to the UGF, then I can just rotate that, make sure everything's nice and centered and where it needs to be. Okay, so now that I have my roads placed, I have my floodlights placed, I know I'm not going to be crashing into anything in terms of placing stuff at the Rastar location. Now I can go ahead and do a little bit of dressing around here. So getting in some small shapes, just some scatter around the location. Then I'll go ahead and grab some of the more functional looking things. That one. Structure 8. Some big shapes over here that we can surround. Go, have the terrain adjust to that. And then bring in some of these. Just got to make sure that things aren't intersecting or clipping between each other too much, because that never looks good. And let's start building this out a little bit more. So this is the process that we follow to create a fully fledged location. We set dress all the different elements. We play it from a player perspective, because sometimes scale can be a little bit funny up in the air like this. But this is the general process that we go through in order to create these locations and make sure that they are fun to play, essentially. So yeah, that is a quick little sneak peek at the Rastar tool and how it allows us to very quickly iterate on our different locations and to make changes very quickly, and also to realize the potential of locations that we dropped years ago, but now that this tool really allows to let them shine.
So one thing for Rastar is to move away from building block, which gave us a really great start, to further integrate it into the editor.
And again, these are not the new UGFs, these are just the new UGFs. Someone from the lore or the story department probably needs to come up with a better name for that. But we're not erasing any of the work we've done in the past, we're just building upon and improving. And these will sit alongside the big, colossal UGFs when they are released.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Rastar may still run on programmer art, but it's a fully armed and operational tool already in use by our developers. That with it, the existing UGFs, limited to only 4 variations until now, are finally realizing their customization potential in the upcoming Alpha 320. And that its next evolution, already well underway. Now don't forget that this year's Ship Showdown is right around the corner. Of course, it's your annual chance to vote on which flyable ship has to become John Crew's favorite each and every year. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
And we're back. And I thought I hit the button, but it just didn't fire for some reason. XSplit being slow. But yeah, we're back. And that was this week in ISC. Well, this week's ISC. So yeah, Admiral Kusanagi, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy, I have to go, huh? Well, I mean, it was good that they were showing, I guess, tech that they're able to use now. That makes this a little bit better for them to help create those bunkers a little bit easier. I'm a little disappointed with what a road is. I don't even know where to begin with that. Besides that, and that's about it. I think. Hopefully, just things will, with more tools and more updated tools. The idea is that this thing is going to get, bit further along. So.
Yeah, I was watching this earlier, and I had a thought. Imagine if Bob Ross had Rastar, what he'd be able to accomplish. Face to face, what are your thoughts about ISC?
Noob Fire.
Yeah, see, Noob Fire, you want to come in and talk? Face to face, you there? Okay, gonna come back to North End Trooper.
Yeah, actually, 2 words come to mind after watching the ISC. Halo Forge. I want to see this in the hands of the community where we can create our own FPS maps and Raid Commander. And I think if they went down that path, I'm theorycrafting obviously, but it'd be pretty cool if they were able to create some small or medium-sized FPS maps. The community can vote on them, and they put that map in rotation quarterly. It's just watching it. It's how efficient these tools that they've been building and how easy they're to snap in. It's like a monkey like me could easily do that. So I'm pretty sure you guys are a lot smarter than I am when it comes to map design. Could plug and play, make some pretty cool capture the flag game maps. I mean, these tools are great for the development for the PU, but on the other hand, I see it being like a huge thing for Arena Commander.
Yeah, Arena Commander, yeah. Well, Squadron 42 too. Well, I mean, all aspects. Star Citizen too, so yeah.
Well, remember, we have to, we have the
Mhm.
ability to create bases too, so there should be that type of. I don't know how that's going to work with the base building ships, but I imagine there might be some of that in this.
Process.
Yeah, the Pioneer, I can imagine.
I'm sorry, my microphone is back now.
Okay. So, Northern, were you done?
I am. Thank you.
Okay. And if anyone else would come in and talk to us, just go ahead and click on the Discord link below and we'll have a chat. Face to face, what are your thoughts?
So, like, I mean, first off, this IC was cool. It's basically kind of like watching like a condensed version of watching somebody kind of like kit bash, somewhat set dress, area, because I mean that's kind of what me and Pops been doing for the last couple of, about half a year or so.
I was
For
gonna
the
say it's
project that we've
been more than a
doing,
couple of years.
not a couple of years, couple of months, but
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, no, it's pretty cool. You mentioned something though, so North, and I'm glad you went before me because it kind of brought to mind that you talked about map building and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Because with the introduction to, I believe it was 5.2 Pops, and correct me if I'm wrong, in Unreal, they introduced these types of features for their thing through Fortnite, where
Mhm.
folks could go in, build like maps and stuff like that in Fortnite with all of the tools from Unreal Engine, and kind of seeing what they're doing here as far as building, putting in objects into the terrain, and the terrain deforms around that object, raises or lowers it to it, which is really cool to make a artist's job have to take a because excuse me, I'm sorry, lost for words. To make an artist's job basically art rather than technical, you
Mm.
know. So it keeps it in that mind frame for them. They could just get in there and just start building, and they do what they need to do. But it's really cool. I'm glad to see the progression is moving along.
They did that in the tech demo in 5.2, where they had the jungle and they placed a log, I think.
Right. Yeah, that was the PGC content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what I saw when they did the Rastar
Right.
demonstration.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And
I
I
played
like
around with it a little bit.
I
Good, I'm
like the
sorry.
last thing Novifier said. These tools will also make it easier for Amazon to sell the engine to other companies. Yeah, we had a discussion about that. They moved from Lumberyard to calling it something else now, right?
Right. Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show.
I
We'll
think
get deep
there's.
into that.
I think they still use lumber. I mean, it's the Star engine, but I think they still use
It's a
lumberyard.
it's a
No,
fork.
I mean Amazon specifically. Amazon specifically.
Mm,
It's a lumberyard. I think is still there. They just don't sell it anymore.
Mhm.
But I think they still support it. But I don't know. I know they still have it for people who already own it, but you can't get it there anymore. So I don't know
Okay.
what the specifics are. I have to look into it again.
I
Okay.
think what they're doing right now, and I'll be quick on this, a lot of these tools, if not all these tools, are trying to package it so they can license them out. That's where the
mhm.
real money's going to be.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, I'm sorry. I'll let you talk about the Pops because I know I'm seeing it too about Brushify, but I'll let you get into it.
Yeah, props. What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, I mean, one of the things that I'm thinking about, because he did mention when we get this, he did say specifically when we get this in our hands.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering how this is going to work out with the Pioneer and so on and so forth. But I am also looking at how is this going to be as far as when we start to go underground, how this will work in that area. And one of the things that I wish I had this right now, because if you remember the map we showed you a couple of days ago that I built, when you move a building around, the ground lifts up to the building, so which means I don't have to keep going in and taking the ground and modeling it around the building. They're automatic. I'm like, man, that would save me hours of work,
Yes.
hashing and
Yeah.
everything that we've done and are doing. So
So what you're saying is you want this tool now?
Yeah, of course.
absolutely. And
Of
North End
course.
is absolutely echoed what we have been saying, that they are going to be selling this engine, or to just like Unreal is doing, and when we can get our hands on it, and build and do and yeah.
I'm just real quick though. I'm curious about their business model when they do that. Will they go
Yeah,
like
that'll be
Unreal
interesting.
Engine route?
Yeah.
Because I think it would be beneficial to them, as my opinion, that they go the same way to Unreal Engine, like where they have, a certain amount that, as an indie developer, you can has licensed for free with all of the tools and everything you can have access to, up to a certain amount that you make. And obviously then you start to go into the enterprise part.
Who gets that money?
Yeah.
I do want Nubifier just referenced something real quick, and he talked about SimCity, and I was thinking about the same thing, because we have City Skylines coming out pretty soon, and you can't tell me some of the tech in that is not there too. I'm just like, this isn't like groundbreaking stuff to me.
No.
I played SimCity 3000, and I mean, that was again like 20 years ago, so.
No, but and you're right. It's not necessarily like it's a magical thing. It's one of those things, like, for example, like a quality of life thing. From a artist standpoint, right? Like, whenever you take away the person who is creating something and you keep them in the creative space rather than taking them out of the creative space where they have to go in and start doing technical things. Like Pops was saying, if I place a building, now what do I got to go do? I got to go into landscape mode. I got to pick the paintbrush. I got to bring the landscape back up. Now I got to do all of those things. Whereas if the landscape deforms around my building, and if I need to touch it up, then I'll do so, but it keeps your mind in a creative flow.
I wanted to bring up something Liquid Wayne always said. Anyone reading CitizenCon, ISC is what they used to look forward to through the week. But now, there's 1 or 2 whole days of this kind of production. No, I'm not dreading CitizenCon. I'm looking forward to CitizenCon because this is the content route before CitizenCon, because they're saving all the good stuff for CitizenCon. So when CitizenCon comes out, we see all the presentations that they have. After the ISC will be, I don't want to say better, but more to our liking, put it that way, because they're holding stuff back now.
Yeah, I understand. And I just want to say one last thing is that we have to get a new definition for the new of the new, because we're working with the new again. And that was really confusing when he started going into all of the news, but the new buildings just have new paint jobs on them. But hey,
I don't understand what it's called. Big UGF, Bug F.
I mean, then you have new, then you have new.
Right, you have the new from the new, and then we're not getting the new, but we saw the new before at the CitizenCon new, but we don't have those news. We got some other news.
So what's the lyrics behind new then?
I'm not gonna start singing. Let's move on. So that is this week ISC. Hey, now it's a Rastar. Yes, that song is gonna be in my head for hours now.
I know, right?
Now it's in your head.
It just popped into my head now. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah.
There's no news like Gary Good News. Isn't that how it goes?
Oh
no.
Anyway, so we're moving on to our Machinima. Machinima 10 minutes. This is from Astro Historian. And basically, they're talking about how every alien faction sees each other, Star Citizen lore. So let's check that out.
My name is Paul Shelley, and welcome to the Astro Historian. This is a channel dedicated to exploring and explaining the lore of sci-fi and space universes and discussing their impact. Today we'll be talking about how each of the alien factions of the Star Citizen universe see one another. But before we get into that, I want to thank y'all for your continued support. We're quickly rising in the sub count, and that has everything to do with you watching right now. So if you've been enjoying the videos, be sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell icon to stay up to date on the latest videos. If you want to go the extra mile, we also have YouTube memberships and Ko-fi for financial donations. Lastly, if you want early, ad-free access to these videos, consider joining the Patreon as well. All those links are in the description. It's pretty easy to tell how each of the alien civilizations feel about humanity and vice versa. That is an interesting topic unto itself and hits home to most people who follow the game, because humanity is the perspective we experience the verse through. Plus, we're human, so we can relate to how a human might deal with something very alien to our own experience. However, how each alien civilization views one another is a bit trickier. It's not helped that currently the only parts of the alien civilizations we can interact with is the ships, so it's not as easy to see how these various groups interact with one another. This topic is one of the most requested episodes in the past, so I decided it was high time to let y'all know about how each of these alien civilizations view each other. Let's start with the OG alien race, which humanity made first contact with first, the Banu. The Banu are kind of like the golden retrievers of the universe, if golden retrievers were into the slave trade, but that's besides the point. The Banu will make friends with everyone, and I mean everyone. They are one of the only species to have some form of trade with literally everyone in the galaxy, with the exception of the Krthok, but even then, I wouldn't put it past them. So their opinion on the Tavaran, Xi'an, and the Vanduul entirely center on their trade relations. Because the Banu are very decentralized, there isn't any across-the-board normal relations with any group. As a result, they trade with the Xi'an, humans, Tavarans, and even some clans of the Vanduul. The last one is very tenuous, and not every Vanduul clan is interested in trading with the Banu, but there are some who are known to trade with them. In general, it's important to remember that the Banu are a chaotic species, lacking a lot of structure that would be required for formal or even informal relationships within their own societies, let alone other species. The Xi'an are a bit different. As they are a highly regulated society and extremely long-lived, there's never a single way they look at any species in reality, but there is always an official one. The official one is usually the most diplomatic, and shouldn't be seen as the true way they view other civilizations. Because they live so long, they also have long memories, with the eldest Xi'an having been alive around first contact with humanity back in 2530. Thus, the opinions of those who lead the Xi'an are also impacted personally by events centuries in the past. With this in mind, just remember that any of these relations might simply be a smokescreen for the true agenda and goals of the Xi'an Empire. The Xi'an and the Banu have been in contact and trading with one another longer than the Banu have known humanity. The two civilizations met when Xi'an explorers stumbled into the tree system in 1924. That's right, 1924 AD. Both sides have shared a deep trading relationship since. The Xi'an and the Tavaran have a more strained relationship. They learned of the Tavaran sometime around the start of the First Tavaran War. After the war ended, many Tavaran fled to the Xi'an Empire, who were already in a tense Cold War with humanity. We know that at the end of the Mezzer era, Xi'an often took in human radicals who were seeking the end of the Mezzers through their sanctioned criminal houses, to keep a layer of deniability. This may have been how the refugee Tavaran also were treated, because the Second Tavaran War started in a very similar way to how the Mezzer era came to an end, with the sudden emergence of large groups who could actively thwart Mezzer UEE. Since the Tavaran have no official government today, the Xi'an do not recognize an independent Tavaran state, instead recognizing them as part of the wider UEE. That doesn't mean they don't have interest in growing settlements in unclaimed territory just outside of human space, though, as they could easily use those same Tavaran as pawns against the UEE if they so desired. Lastly, the Xi'an and the Vanduul have a strained relationship. Generally, the two peoples are hostile to one another, but there has been some tenuous trade between them. This is at most a handful of Vanduul clans, and the Xi'an seem to openly disdain the Vanduul as short-sighted barbaric brutes. Speaking of the Vanduul, let's see how they feel about other species of the galaxy. As a brief reminder, the Vanduul do not have a centralized government or structure. They're made of various small to large clans of nomadic raiding ships and can rarely join together in massive hordes led by a charismatic and strong individual. Thus, like the Banu, there is no central opinion of the Vanduul as a species. There are some Vanduul which trade with Banu regularly. We don't know how long this relationship has lasted, but we know it is very limited to very specific clans of Vanduul, and it seems to be a very beneficial partnership for both sides. The Vanduul and Xi'an also have a trade relationship, but it seems to be much more recent. They seem to be mostly cold to the Xi'an, as opposed to the outright hostile stance they have taken with humanity. However, the Vanduul do not trust or like the Xi'an, thinking of them as manipulators and cowards. The Vanduul and Tevarin seem to be absolute mortal enemies. Every record of Tevarin groups encountering Vanduul ships ends in a knockdown, drag-out fight, with the Vanduul valuing strength and martial prowess, and the Tevarin valuing unity and martial ability. It's only natural for these two warrior peoples to seek to see who is a better fighter. As of late, it seems that the Tevarin are the better fighters, as every encounter between the two ended in a Tevarin victory. Lastly, the Tevarin are tricky to judge as a species, because the majority of the Tevarin are either living in the UEE or isolated in their own communities in unclaimed systems. There isn't a single Tevarin government anymore. As a result, I will do my best to explain what the relationship was when the Tevarin still did have a state, and how the species interacts with others today. The Tevarin and the Banu seem to have gotten along after they were introduced sometime after the start of the First Tevarin War. The Banu even took in Tevarin refugees after the war, and adapted Tevarin shield tech to their own designs. It is also very likely that the Banu aided in the development of the legendary Phalanx shield technology, which would be adapted to the Banu's Sukaran shield. Today, the Banu and Tevarin seem to have good relations, with criminal Tevarin groups working well with Sulis that skirt the law in contraband and smuggling. The Tevarin and the Xi'an seem to have a neutral attitude towards one another. It's likely that the Tevarin respected the Xi'an due to both cultures valuing duplicity and stealth in their doctrines. It is also likely that they saw the Xi'an as a means to an end, as the same value could be used against them. Today, it's unknown how Tevarin see the Xi'an, but it's likely the same way they treat humanity, with a hefty dose of skepticism. Lastly, the relationship between the Tevarin and the Vanduul is, like I said earlier, chaotic. The Vanduul hadn't stumbled upon the main actors in the verse until well after the fall of the Tevarin civilization, but that hasn't stopped modern Tevarin groups from butting heads with the Vanduul. It doesn't help that most Tevarin outside the UEE live in or near a system with a jump point to Vanduul space, and due to not being under the protection of the UEE, they have to fend for themselves. Despite this disadvantage, the Tevarin are diametrically opposed to the Vanduul way of war, and this may give them an advantage. The Vanduul are aggressive raiders who want to get into hand-to-hand combat, while the Tevarin are also aggressive raiders. They prefer hit-and-run attacks, attacking targets of importance, not opportunity. Thus, the Vanduul may be easily lured into a trap by the Tevarin, who could then crush them despite being outnumbered. What is for sure known is that the Tevarin inside and outside of the UEE take to fighting the Vanduul with glee, as their settlements and ghettos inside major cities are indiscriminately targeted alongside human ones. This seems to have given the Tevarin the same fury and hatred of the Vanduul as humanity. That is a general overview of how each of the alien species inside the Star Citizen universe sees one another. I know I left out the Krthok and some others, but that is mostly because they are either far too unknown or just too primitive to have developed opinions of the galaxy at large. As always, this is subject to change as these species get more fleshed out and added to the game properly. But for now, I want to know what you think of each of these species in the comments below. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'd like to thank those on screen now for supporting the channel financially. If you want to throw in a few credits, think about becoming a member on YouTube. And if you want a bit more for your contribution, join the Patreon. Patreons get early, ad-free access to all videos, including exclusive early access to my long-running Complete History of Star Citizen lore series, whose 3 episodes are available to the public now. If you want to know what you're getting, check.
And we're back. I think that's enough for the general idea of what the cinema world. So yeah, free fall. Well, yeah, free fall. Anybody have any thoughts? I just learned something that the Banu are the golden retrievers of the verse. I did not know that. Thank you for that, Paul. Appreciate it.
I thought of them as the golden retrievers, but I get it. I get that. The one thing that it really makes me think about is, I know we've talked. They said before it's supposed to be a 9-1 us against us as far as
Yes.
right.
Player to NPC count ratio,
Right.
yeah.
You see, so it makes me wonder, because there's more races than just the human race. So I'm just wondering the population as far as NPC,
That's a good
Banu,
question.
Keon, and how all that's going to really mesh together with what they're trying to do. Yeah.
And remember, most of those will be quanta. They won't have like a physicalized presence in the verse. They'll like be running in the background on the servers.
Yeah. And I'm just, and then I'm also thinking, because I know today, in the newsletter, it was a lot about AI. So I'm just wondering, how is that going to translate over to these other races as far as is the AI, what are they going to be doing? Things like that to, the diverse is more alive.
Good question. Well,
in our
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, you bring out a good point though, Pops. Like, because like when you think about like how you'll see, obviously, Banu will be more populated in Banu space, and you'll see if you're able to even get out there, you'll see more Vandul and Vandul space, so on and so forth. So that'll be really cool to see and to experience. And hopefully with everything that they're that I know of and that they're planning to do within the game, as far as the language and all of those things within the game, how you'll go into let's take bandways and be able to trade with them. You'll have to know how their language, is and all of that stuff, and how to build their reputation with them and so on and so forth.
Right.
And
As far
especially,
as,
yeah.
I'm sorry, because
Go
as
ahead.
far as I know, we're supposed to be able to travel to the Banu world. So I'm wondering,
Right.
when we, I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought I
No,
read
that's not all right. I was just thinking about how will we travel, but go ahead.
right how and how once we travel FC, because that planet, we should be the absolutely minority when we get there. So how that is going to work as far as our interaction with them.
I don't know about you, Pop, but I'm used to being in the minority, so should be fine.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go.
So yeah, I'm really curious on how they work all of this, the alien thing.
Yeah, but definitely a big shout out to Paul for his hard work and of definitely keeping all of us and all of the old backers to new backers informed.
I mean, old and new, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I didn't know some of this stuff, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
at least no, I was
I know.
no. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, God bless Paul for being a teacher because he's got the patience for a saint sometimes dealing with us. But I think it was Fist of Face or Pops mentioned about trade, and whoever's the lore guru here, I'm curious to know how, and I'm not trying to open Pandora's box here, but what kind of is there like an intergalactic currency exchange, between Banu and Xi'an? How do they trade? How did we trade with them?
I don't know about currency exchange, but they probably barter between,
Yeah, they were
I don't
pretty
know.
big barters.
Yeah.
From what I remember from the lore series, yeah, they were really big barterers. As far as they like to they like the best of the best. Put it that way.
Is that something that as players that when we win, we go to those systems and need to do exchanges? Are we gonna go through that same thing? Go through that same experience?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I would assume it would be probably a more a definitely, I won't say complex, but I'll say a more intricate, system that they'll have in place. Like, most MMOs, you have a trade system between each other.
And not just that, but they'll probably have like missions, like gather 10
Correct.
trinkets. Gather 10 trinkets and bring it back.
That's true too.
Exactly, FC. Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
wondering how this is gonna work out.
I mean, because like they trade. I mean, they have a open line to Van Duel stuff. So, I mean, if you can get yourself some hands on some Van Duel parts, like a Van Duel derelict out there or something, you might come across a Van Duel,
I mean, they had that in the
fighter.
Jack McClure video
Yeah,
with the guy
there you
selling
go.
Vandal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a human person
Oh yeah,
operating a
yeah.
Van Duel merchantmanship. But I mean, I'm just saying, you have it and you got some parts with them. I'm quite sure they'd be like, okay, yeah, look what you got. Look at what I got.
Yeah, FC, and you did make me think about how deep we will go into when we're able to use alien parts and how
I
far
mean, I mean, I don't know how popular the Defender is, but people have the Defender. They can use the Defender I think they have like the Defender shield, some of the best shields in
Right.
for that size. So yeah.
And then when it comes to the Endeavor, when we get ready to start, upgrading and things like that, exactly how far that will go, as far as like I guess whatever parts and weapons and things that we use. So yeah.
So here's another question, especially with the most recent news with the reputation. How we're going to build reputation with these species? Where will we have a better barter opportunity, or
that's been the question for like years now. Yeah, you're not the first to ask that, but I mean, like does having a brand new merchantman make reputation better with the brand new? We don't know yet.
That's a good question.
Well, knowing the language does. I mean, if you get a
they did say that. They did say that.
If you know Xeon or Banu, then they'll look at you better.
Yeah, well, right, but that's what I was saying earlier, because that's a very beneficial thing. When I first heard, I was like, oh, really? Wow, damn, they're going really that deep, to be able to, when you barter with that Banu and you know the language. I don't know how well they'll do with their voice recognition software. You know what I mean? If you can speak it versus,
I don't think speaking it will be the thing. They'll probably have like a thought system where something pops up and
right.
if you know the proper response to in Banu, then you're good. That's my
that could be attached to your skills too. They add skill tree. The more you work with them, the higher you are, or more successful you're going to barter with them.
Ooh,
I don't think it's a skill tree. I think it's more like
I don't like that word skill tree.
If you get the right response, your reputation will probably go up. Maybe.
Yeah.
Another thing it made me think of, since it is a barter system, and FC, if I'm on your ship, you better not trade for me. You understand that? No, they'd be like, look, we want him right there, and I'll be like, yo, FC, look, be trying to put me in slavery now, so, and then leave me behind on the planet.
I have so many responses, but I'm gonna save that for after dark. How about that? That's what I did.
All right.
But Kusanagi, did you have anything you wanted to say?
You guys pretty much already said everything. You talk about the 9-to-1 player percentage that we're.
To be fair, people are saying 9-to-1. We've heard 10-to-1, but people are subtracting one from the 9. So it could be 9-to-1, it could be 10-to-1, but yeah.
We're 10% of the overall 100%. So
right.
that 90% are NPCs roaming the galaxy, and that's supposed to be scaled up to where we are. Now, if you look at places like, I'm looking at Ryla right now, and you look at the Ryla 5, that planet's got between 50 and 100 billion Xeon. You look at places like Area 18, there's got to be a ton of people in there. So these are like giant locations which should have the infrastructure to defend themselves, to pull out massive ships on a whim. So you have to think that the systems that we're getting into are some of them are going to be massively populated, and some are going to be absolutely empty. And those are the ones that are going to be like 100 AU, or I think the largest is 400 AU. What Stanton's like 2. So
Yeah, something small. Yeah.
people are complaining about the travel times now. Well, there's a reason why there's a
Right.
chessboard in the MSR. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was how every alien faction sees each other. Star Citizen Law from the Astro Historian or the Astro Pub. So I already put the link in chat. So yeah, go ahead and check out Paul's other videos if you want to learn more about the lore in Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
I will add that we all benefit at Paul's love for this game, because there aren't many people out there who just want to dig so much into this and put this stuff on video to explain it to people who don't know what Star Citizen really is. And we owe him a thanks. Even the people who are like, this is kind of cool and all that, but really, this is some great stuff he's put together. And if you really want to know more about the lore that you're getting yourselves into, check out his shows. It's really good.
I mean, Chris Nagy, he's alright.
He's okay, yeah.
I'm joking.
I heard he's a jerk once in a while. It's okay.
He's great. I like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna wrap up the show. I want to thank everybody for joining us, joining us, talking with us. Yeah. But before I do that, I was gonna say, reminder for the Chicago Bar Citizen, it was supposed to be on July 29th, which is last week, but it got moved to August 26th. So I don't have any photos or logos or anything like that for yet. But August 26th, I believe it'll be the same location. And talked about it before, but please, if you can, donate to our charity fundraiser, St. Jude Children's Hospital, for the kid. We're having a milestone giveaway at $2,000. We're only $323 away from our next milestone. So yes, we appreciate it, and everyone who had donated so far.
Don't forget, people. You can give that to the tax man, and he'll know what to do with it. This is you get an email, and you get a tax break if you do you do something like a donation like this for your next taxes in the fall, or whenever the hell it is, in the January time frame.
Oh, Jade, when is Griff's show? He's going to be on the People's Radio this weekend, I guess. So what day and time, Jade? Also, Griffin will also be on Soul Voices Saturday 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. That's where we talk about what's going on in the community that week. But typically he brings stuff up from Spectrum, Reddit, and something from the industry in general. Or he just make up his own stuff sometimes, like he did last week. So it's always a fun show. Yeah, Jade, can you let me know? Go ahead. But that's part of podcast Saturday. I start off every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern with Soul Voices, 6 p.m. Eastern with Captain Table, and then 9 p.m. Eastern with Relay Station. And Jade said night mix with Griff at 0200 UTC, so that's 10 p.m. Friday night. Okay, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Good. Eastern. Thank you for that. And yeah, and then on Sunday, we have United Earth Empire, UEE. Basically, let me scroll up and get the note properly so I can read it correctly. The birth of the UEE and some of the history of the UEE. So that should be interesting. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, midnight UTC. I want to thank Evan Kushnagi, Fit Space, Northern Trooper, and Pot Space for joining me tonight. And thank everybody for chat and in chat for joining us and carrying on the conversation. Special shout out to the Noble Fire. So yes. Oh yeah, if anyone is available from the Soul team for the Sunday, be sure to let Griff know. If you want to become a Soul Bro, Soul Sister, or Soulmate, Soul Sister membership has its privileges. Click the join button down below on YouTube. We're Soul Citizens with S on the end on social media everywhere, except not on I forgot the name of it, Mastodon. And I believe we're not, but I don't think we're on Mastodon yet. So I'll talk to Griff about that later. If you want to support us, you can buy merchandise, and lower that, we prefer to donate to St. Jude Hospital. Be sure to hit like and subscribe and follow depending on what platform you're on, and hit the notification icon so you know when we're live. And I don't see Griffin around, so I don't believe we're rating anyone. So I didn't get a chance to see if anyone wrote up. So let me see who's up real quick. Da-da-da. I'm looking real quick. It'll be a manual raid, so. Captain is playing Baldur's Gate 3. Everyone's playing Baldur's Gate 3. So if anyone wants to check out Baldur's Gate 3, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's go to Captain Richard. I haven't seen him in a while. So Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, Jay. That's what I just said. Everyone's playing Baldur's Gate 3. So I'm putting that here. Do a manual raid in Captain Richard's channel. Okay, so there you go. There's a link in YouTube and Twitch. So tell them you're coming from Soul Citizen, manual raid. So yeah, and with that, oh yeah, how do you kill someone which has no life? That's the question that we've all been wondering.
Oh my god.
So and with that, peace, love, and soul. Take care, everybody.